Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. All right, well, let's lay out our second circle here, making sure we don't have any grease on there. So, we got our center line. Let's reestablish that because it's gotten kind of burnt off from torch work. There we go. I'm going to take it all the way to the top. And then we want 9 and 300. Is right there. Do a little crosshatch right there. And since we've got center line already figured out, everybody's happy here, except that it's just slightly off, but not too bad. I put a little notch in the bottom here and a notch in the top. So I'm lining center line up with both of those, and we do our little center punch thing, and it comes out perfect. Well, not machinist perfect, but certainly welder and cutter perfect. Within a 16th or so. All right, and we come in and find our center and draw a circle, just so we have something to work from. And let's rotate you up a little bit because we're gonna kind of go up. We'll bring our torch into play here, and that's our highest side. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. All right, so take our metal up here. And that should give us just about what we need here. Good. And this way, gosh, that looks pretty good. I'm happy. Let's shoot it. Ready? Not quite hard enough. There we go. What I'm seeing are lots of pulling. So tighten that up a bit. And that's that for that. That's the third one. So we're done with this part of it. Now at some point or another we're going to put this on the mill and we're going to drill how many holes? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 holes around the circumference, or around the perimeter of this. And then we do, of course, the 4-hole pattern for the bottom part. But for now, we're done. Okay, well, at some point we're going to need to make this little unit, actually 3 of them. And so right now I'm wanting to just cut this plate out of this 1/2 inch material here. So we're just going to cut the circumference and go from there. You ready? Okay, let's go. Not too bad, a little more dross than I wanted, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I think it'll clean up pretty quickly. We got a little bit more cleanup than I was hoping for. But not bad. Okay, that's the second one. Now let's go ahead and cut the third. Okay, well that came out okay. We'll be back. Alright, we're going to do a quick layout here just to kind of find center. A little bit less. Probably okay. We're going to have to make it longer. Alright, there's center. And a little bit of a center punch. And we're going to come up with 2 inches, 2-inch radius. Just to kind of keep us honest. There we go. There's our radius, or our circle. Now, let's move this into place. Someplace right in there. We're going to drop this down a bit. And come across. How we doing? Whoop, way over. That looks good. It's good, except of course we didn't drill a hole. So we're just going to attempt to blow through on this one, even though it's a 1/2 inch thick. Because I don't feel like setting it up again. And the third one, you know what's going to happen, so we'll be back. Well, we're just kind of jumping around a little bit here, but right now we're set up and we're ready to go. And we're going to drill 16 holes. Well, actually only 15 because the number 1 hole is not existent. And I think we're set and ready to go. So let's take our pointer out. We're going to put a small pilot bit in just to get it started. Okay, and we're off and rolling. All right, we'll get rid of this drill bit and the rat's nest around it. There we go. Hole number 1. Now, this is the first time I've used my DRO to find the coordinates of holes because I've never needed to. I always just brought my rotary table down and, you know, worked it out that way. But, you know, of course, this has got some pretty hefty edges on it that I don't think would clear the mill, so you know I was forced to do that. Now, so I spent about an hour this morning dinking around trying to figure this thing out, and I think I got it figured out. Well, no, I don't think I got it figured out. Okay, so now we're gonna go down to 0. Huh. That's not right. There's something off. Okay, well, after much messing around, and I mean, I do not know what happened still. I haven't figured it out, but for some reason the circle, I would set up center, the circle would kick off by about a half an inch. Or, yeah, this way up by about a half an inch. And so these two holes here are not cut in the right place, but I'm able to get number 2 hole to go down in its proper place. Number 1 hole is going to be a little bit more difficult, and I think what we'll do is once we get everything all patterned out, we'll come in and just TIG weld that back together. And by the way, I have a new TIG welder. Yeah! Anyhow, so we'll come in and just TIG weld that up, because all we're doing is trying to seal it. We're not trying for strength or anything like that. I mean, the rest of this whole panel has got plenty of strength. So we're going to go around the pattern here and drill 16 holes, and hey, there we go. We got it worked. Okay, hole number 3. And we bring it back to 0. And bring this one back to 0. There we go. Put our small drill bit in, our pilot drill bit. Speed it up. So as you can see in this little area right here, we have got a whole hodgepodge full of holes. And well, you can kind of see that this one, that one, and that one, no, not that one, and this one are appropriate holes. These are the ones we're going to keep. These are the ones that we're going to somehow get rid of. Now the problem is right there is the next hole, the in between these two holes, and I'm thinking that it's probably going to break through into this hole here. So we're going to drill it out first as big as we can, and then come in with a mill bit and drill it out with the mill bit, just so it doesn't walk into that hole and get all messy. So let's start by drilling. We'll start with the small bit and see what we can do. Okay, we're going to go to a next size up. Still not breaking into that wall, but giving us just a little bit bigger hole. Alright, that's that for that. Alright, making sure we've got a 5/8 mill bit. And I'm thinking we're going to have to bring our table up a bit, so let's do that, and we're going to have to reset the camera. Okay, and you know, obviously if we punch through into this hole here and we come back to re-weld this, it's going to contaminate this hole here. But at the very least, I will have about 3/4 of this hole will be pristine, and I can come back with the mill bit and recut the hole after the welding. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, well, it's just barely there. I mean, the wall is so thin. It's kind of like this one. These two are very similar. So we'll come back in and weld those up and see what we can come up with. We've got our plate cut on the pattern torch, but you know, of course it's rough, and we want to take this out. I gave myself a good 1/4 inch, so we want to take this out to size, and I think we can do that right here, except we have to find center, and not center of this hole, but center of the perimeter, because the perimeter is the key here. Oh, we're not too far off. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, bring this back about 1/2 inch. I think that's good enough. We got a good 1/4 inch out there once we get the center hole done, so we're in pretty good shape. Alright, well, we've got a little bit of a opening here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem, because we're going to put a tube through here and weld the whole thing up, and we've got more than halfway. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's like maybe a, what, 20%, 15%. So when we come in, and what we're going to do next is reverse these jaws and bring them in and grip here. We'll just make sure and miss this part here in order to do our outside. So that's next. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Take it out. Turn off that fan. And we already did the other two, so that's a done deal. Reverse our jaws. Bring that into, we're going to take this into the center line here. Yeah, just about. Now, when I first got this lathe, this chuck came with it, and it was brand new. I mean, there wasn't a scratch on it. I was just amazed that the guy was willing to let go of a brand new 4-jaw chuck. But he did, and the jaws were always tight. I mean, and what's it been? Oh, I don't know, 10 years now that I've had this lathe. And finally, just this year, these jaws have loosened up. Now, of course, that means that it's worn, but at least it's easier to deal with. All right, that should get us where we want to go. Actually, I don't think so. Let's go in a little further. Even a little further. There we go. That looks good. I'm going to turn it around because this side is more finished. Ah, much better. Okay, well, we're just going for general size. I'd actually like to be a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, look at that. We got 3/8 of an inch. So I think what we're going to do is take about, just take it down to clean, and that'll be good. Okay, let's knock down some ragged edges here and see what we can do. All right, nice and clean. We'll take this off. We're going to do 2 more. Okay, let's get it back there a little bit. That's good. Okay, this is what we've got. So we found 0 on our piece, right? So we're dead center, 0, 0. And so I push the circle button. It says PCD X and Y, which means place center directive or something like that. I can't remember. Okay, so then I push enter and it sets these up, and I push X and I say 0, and I push Y, oops, and enter, and then Y and 0 and enter, and that should pinpoint me right at dead center. Now, okay, so now I push enter again, and it says diameter 10 inches, 620 thousandths, which is exactly what I want. So that's my diameter of my circle pattern. So I'm good there, and I push starting angle 0, and then I want to go to my last hole, which is 22.5 degrees less than 360, which is 337.5 or 337, 337.5 degrees, and that's the ending angle, right? Okay, then I push it again, and it says how many numbers of holes? 16. There I am, 16 holes, and now, boom, it sets me up. Now this is the first number 1 hole, which is parallel with the x-axis, and it sits on 0 on x-axis. So this sets me up at 1 inch and 41 thousandths further down from the x-axis, which means, now I'm going to bring you over here, and this is already drilled and already done. We're coming in after the fact and showing you this because I couldn't reset it during, which means, okay, hang on, we're gonna have to start again. Which means that instead of this sitting dead center and going straight across the number 1 hole, it sets me up 1 inch and 40 thousandths down from dead center hole. And I have tried and tried and tried to get that 140 thousandths, or 140 thousandths, get it to center out and just say 0, and it won't do it. So what I eventually did is I eventually brought my table 104 thousandths the opposite direction and set it up as 0, and it did it just fine. But then of course all the numbers were well, not all the numbers, just the first set of numbers were off. So anybody got any ideas? I don't know what happened here, and I swear I have done this particular setup that I just did. I changed it and moved it and adjusted it and deleted and added 40 times, and I always come up with the same number. So hey, give me some feedback and tell me what I'm doing wrong.